C, D, E, F, G.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my vlog channel. I hope that you're all doing well. In today's video I decided to do a voiceover for the first time, and I'll just narrate basically myself making chocolate cupcakes from this chocolate cake mix. I hope that you enjoy. It was something new, something a bit fun, and yeah, it turned out quite well. So you can just see me here struggling to open up the cake mix itself. I don't know, it was so hard to pull it. I just ended up giving up trying to open it like that, and I ended up ripping it in half instead. So there's me just pouring it into the bowl and try not to make a mess with it. A little bit of dust, chocolate dust did go up in the air, but never mind, it was fine. So yeah, I was just being careful here without I was letting it fall into the mixing bowl. So yeah, there was quite a lot of mix, which did make me think I wasn't going to have enough of the little what do you call them? The little paper holders what you pour the mix into. I thought I wasn't going to have enough of those sized ones, but anyways, moving on. I had 3 medium eggs that I cracked. The mixture said 3 medium eggs. I think it was 110 millilitres of water and 114 millilitres of oil. So I just decided to pop the eggs in first, and then I followed by putting the water in. I didn't pour the water all in. I done it little by little, basically. So yeah, I don't really crack eggs very often, as you can see, so I'm not the best at it. So those were the eggs. Then I poured a little bit of water in, and then I got a spoon out from the drawer and started to mix it together, just doing it slowly as I didn't want to make a mess. And as I went along, I added more water. I feel like I have used a cake mix before, but I feel like this one was easy for me to do. Maybe it's because I feel a bit more confident using them now. You can see the dust flying up from the mixture. Yeah, maybe it's because it was like my second time doing one of these, but it was different. It's me just adding some more water. I just felt a bit more confident with it, and it turned out pretty nice. And since this video I have had 2 of them, and they were absolutely delicious. I loved them. So there's me slowly saturating it and turning it, mixing it all in, trying to get everything wet and moistured so that no part was dry. I tried to get it all in, like scraping around the edges of the bowl, trying to make sure I hadn't missed anything. There was a lot of this turning and folding. It was me adding in the last remaining bit of the water, and just repeating mixing it in. Yes, so I just went on doing this for a little while. There was a little bit of like bubbly bits and like lumpy bits, but I tried to get those out as best as I could by just folding it, turning it, repeating that all the time. And yeah, it was quite runny, which is good, I think. And yeah, that was all I really did for that portion of the video. And I did get a little bit on my fingers, but never mind. I tried to clean myself as best as I could. Whilst I was doing this, the oven was being preheated, so that by the time I'd finished doing what I had to do, I could just pop it in the oven and leave it for 20-25 minutes. But I believe I ended up doing it for a bit longer just to make sure it was fully baked properly, and it was good. There's me now reaching for the oil, I think that is. I think I was trying to find out the measuring point to put the oil in, so I couldn't really judge it properly. I was just like taking a risk basically with how much I was putting in. It was a brand new oil, so I had to take the seal off the lid first, then pour it in, and I think it was right because it all seems fine. So that was good, that was the main thing. So there's me just pouring the oil into the jug. Me trying to make sure that I had enough. Me just doing up the lid and putting it to one side, and I'm just going to pour some of that oil in and start mixing it again. I was really trying to get into the bottom of the bowl to make sure I was really getting every bit of the mixture in the oil. And the bowl was moving around a lot, so I was trying to hold it as best as I could. I was trying to see if there was a better position that I could perhaps have my hand on it to stop it from moving, but at the end of the day I think I just kept my hand on the side of it as best as I could. So as I kept turning it anyway, it did start to look a bit less bumpy and a lot more smoother. So I think the oil was the reason why. So I did a bit more there. Just kept turning it and turning it, folding it over, repeating that. Just like that. Just making sure it all got in. Getting right in the bottom. Making sure nothing was left unturned. And then I should be starting to put the last bit or so into the mix. Okay, no I didn't. So that wasn't the last bit. I added that bit in, and then I think the next one was the last one. I think I was just being cautious and careful about how much I put in at a time to make sure it didn't basically ruin it. But it got very runny, very smooth. Quite good consistency, so I think at that point I was like, okay, this is quite good. The worst thing I wanted was to do this and it'd be dry, but it wasn't. It was perfect in my opinion. Yep, so I poured the last of the oil in at that point and just done last bit of there's me trying to get the bits off of the side to try and keep it inside the bowl, not on the outside. Just kept doing that over and over. You get the gist of it. And then obviously the next part was me getting the tray for the cupcake paper tins to go in it, so that it was ready for me to pour the mix into that. I don't know if I'd done this too many times or for like too long, but I just wanted to do it so that nothing was too clumpy or too lumpy, if you get what I mean. Just wanted it to try and be as smooth as possible. And I think I've done a good job. I'm quite proud of how they turned out. Okay, yeah, so this is when I decided that was enough stirring and folding and mixing basically. And here comes the baking tray. And the little tins. I think I was maybe cleaning my finger at this point before I touched them. But there I started putting them in. This fit 12, so I put 12 of those tins in. I'm sorry, but I can't remember what they're actually called. They're a little bit fiddly to separate, but that was fine. I did wonder if I should have put the bigger ones in because of how much mixture there was, but they still turned out fine, which was the main thing. So this is where I just gave it one last stir just to make sure nothing had dried up in that short moment that I had stopped mixing it for. And this is where I decided to just hold it in my hands and try and use the spoon to lay the mixture into the cupcake holders. This was the messiest part of the whole video, but after I did separate the mixture into the individual holders, I did clean the tray where I had spilt some mixture up, because I knew that when they would go into the oven that mixture would bake and there'd be chocolate sponge basically on the tray, and you don't really want that because it's harder to clean. So I tried to get it off as best I could, but anyways, this is me just putting the mix into the cupcake holders. The camera had actually cut off the top section of the baking tray, so that's why you can't see me getting it in the holder. You can only see me waving the spoon about. As you can tell, the mix was flying everywhere. I was really trying my best to keep it from running everywhere as possible. So apart from the mixing and obviously the baking itself in the oven, this took quite a while. At first I did only fill them up a little bit because I wasn't too sure about the mixture, how much there would be remaining, because I didn't want to put too much in at first and then be left with none to fill them up with. But looking at it, I was just being on the safe side really. But I definitely did go back to a few and really filled them up. And when you see the end result, my gosh, they did rise so big. They rose so high. I was quite shocked. But they, as I said, they turned out really good and tasted really nice. You can see me now how they were looking. I was trying to be really patient with the spoon and just like let it slither off basically the spoon into the cupcake holder. I did wonder if I should just pour it in from the bowl, but then I thought that might be a bad idea. So I just decided to use a spoon. So I did not want it going absolutely everywhere. That would have been an absolute nightmare and a disaster to clean up. But they went really well. They spread out into the holders pretty smoothly. Which I was happy about. And yeah, it didn't take me all that long when you think about it to fill them all up, but when it's the waiting about for it to finish dripping off the spoon to get to, and then putting the spoon back into the bowl and then lifting the spoon out of the bowl without it falling absolutely everywhere before it's even hit the holder, that was a little bit annoying. But yeah, it was fine. Apart from that, I do recommend doing this though. It's quite fun. It's quite, I don't know, therapeutic in a way. It's kind of relaxing. And it helps you obviously improve your baking skills. So yeah, it's quite a good activity to get into. This was me just going back over the ones that I felt didn't have enough, which was the majority of them. Especially the top ones that you can't see, those needed more. But yeah, I enjoyed making this video. It was quite fun, and hopefully I can do some more at some point. Let me know if you enjoy these types of videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts, or even maybe some video ideas. I'm trying to keep to new things and exciting things, really. But yeah, if you ever have any video suggestions, let me know in the comments and I will consider them and see if I can do them for you. Yeah, I was really trying to like keep the mix as even as possible, just try and not, you know, have like little bits, you know, when it drips off and they got like little dangly bits and like they make like a little pattern on top of the smooth bit. I was trying to avoid that because that is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Sometimes it just like smooths itself out into the mix, so it's fine, but other times it doesn't. But it was alright. It is what it is. But yeah, I think I kept looking in the bowl at this point. I was like, oh my god, I've got so much already in these. Like, how am I going to do this? But it worked out. I think the bottom row had the most in them, like especially the bottom right ones. So in where I was standing in that video, my left, but when you're watching, be your right. I think that's how that was the maximum that I filled them up, because otherwise it would have been literally an overspillage. So after I had completely filled these as best as I could and got the most out of the mixture, I got some tissues and I just wiped where I'd spilt some and just tried to wipe around where the cake holders were as well, just to try and make it as neat as possible and so that a massive mess didn't occur in the oven. I was coming to the end of the mixture by this point, I'm sure. I must have been scraping the bowl to try and get the last pieces out and just think where to put them next. There's me just getting the last of it out. Really getting all the pieces. Really making the most of it. I think after this scoop I must have stopped because I don't think I had any more left at that point. So I stopped at that point and put it in the oven and voila.